Hello, my boils, my ghouls, and my zools. Welcome back to Kalashkamaz. So today we are talking about, well, a bizarre pistol that has a bit of lineage that goes into the AK-47. Now, how does something like this end up like this? Well, let's talk about that. And what the heck is this I'm holding here? Now, this is the Jaeger pistol. This is a World War I pistol designed by a German gun designer named Franz Jaeger. Franz was born in 1876 and had a Prussian uncle who was a Prussian gun designer, and he would get him into the gunsmithing trade. Now, years would go on, and Franz would design a trigger mechanism for double-barrel shotguns that would allow them to shoot both hammers at the same time. At the time, that was a very innovative thing, and they would go on to start a shotgun company producing extremely high-quality shotguns with these triggers, as well as gunsmithing, installing the trigger mechanisms into other double-barrel shotguns. So Franz would eventually move to New York City and immigrate to America to produce these shotguns in the US and try to pursue patents here, and would continue on pretty well, but wanting to increase the margin in his finances as well as find higher quality gunsmiths to hire, Franz would move back to Europe and continue his shotgun business, doing very well, hiring more gun designers, getting a bigger facility, and, things are improving. Can't ask more than that. Things are getting better and better and better. Got a new factory. We're moving all around the world. We're producing high quality shotguns. Oh shit. It's August 1st, 1914. Germany declared war on Russia. So, problem with that is that the Ministry of Defense decreed that all gun manufacturers in Germany had to now produce guns for the military. So Franz was panicking a little bit. Franz produced shotguns for sporting and hunting, and he didn't have any military designs. They produced one thing. So a little problematic when you're a gun manufacturer, gun designer, and gunsmith. You only produce one thing, and now you have to make military weapons. So what do? Now, there is actually multiple accounts of what Franz did, and it's actually kind of amusing. So Franz goes into work like any other day on a Friday. He finishes up the work day with the crew. He's smithing, he's doing stuff, Mind you, they do not own a lathe, they do not own a mill. He needs to produce military weapons. So finishes up that Friday, and he gets to work on designing a gun. And Monday morning, it's a Monday through Friday work week, so Monday morning the rest of the workers come in, and the description was that he was disheveled, unshaven, but extremely happy, as he had produced the first prototype of the Jaeger pistol, and it worked. So over the next couple weeks, just weeks, he would hash it with the design team. He would hash out a few design details, a few production details, and file for a patent. So Franz would file for a patent in Germany as well as the US, and unfortunately, he was denied. He was denied in Germany due to its design not being original enough, that the crafting that went into its differentiation from other pistol designs would be something that would be of any kind of skilled craftsmanship that anybody in the art of the skill itself could not do. It was just too typical. In the US, it was actually, basically the same reason. It was too similar to another pistol. If I remember correctly, the patent was rejected. I believe the gun, you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe it was called the Stuttgart pistol, was the pistol in the US that the Jaeger was rejected over. And funny enough, guys trying to make a military pistol, the military was actually very unimpressed with the pistol. Mostly due to its well, it looked janky. It just looked janky. You know, things at the time, they're forged, they're milled, you know, they're big, heavy chunks of German metal. And this, look at this thing. You might look at this and say, hey, look at that is that thing folded sheet metal? Close. Die cut sheet metal. So it just did not look as impressive as a lot of other guns. However, despite being unimpressed, the German military would approve the pistol to be purchased privately by officers. And given that approval, Jaeger would go into full production. And what's interesting about this design, sheet metal die cut design, is that it was designed to be produced in factories that did not primarily produce firearms. Very interesting. And that was due to Jaeger, the company, not owning a mill or a lathe. So, being that they were unimpressed but allowed officers to buy the pistol would go into full production, and over the next 3 years, the Jaeger company would produce 13,000 of these pistols. 2,000 of them would go to the German military, and the pistol, very clearly, selling 11,000 pistols, very clearly did pretty damn well on the civilian market. And a lot of that would be due to its cost. This thing cost 34 francs, which, I mean, back then, I mean, that was cheap. That was fucking cheap, man. You know, it was comparable to a cheap shotgun. So, you know, you're getting a fucking deal. You're getting a self-loading or auto-loading pistol for about the price of a cheap shotgun. That's fucking great, man. I mean, even these days, I think most people would take that. Like, hell yeah, dude, this fucking thing's about the price of a you know, pretty half-decent shotgun. Not the worst thing on the market. Not some Confederate piece of shit. You know, it's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Now, you know, you got a little bit of the backstory. So how exactly does that become that? Now, there are, despite its patent rejections, there are things that are innovative about this pistol. Now, the entire pistol is not die cut. The front strap and back strap are forged, but the frame itself, with that back strap and front strap, it's 4 pieces. And that is a very innovative thing at the design. So it's got a front strap, back strap, and 2 side plates. That is a design that very few guns had done at the time, but none in this particular fashion. The prototype itself was held together with screws, but the actual model, the actual production model itself just uses pins. It is a striker-fired pistol. That is not in itself innovative, but what is innovative is its locking action back here with the mainspring going up into the sear, all contained in the back strap. Very innovative at the time, and you would see that design go on into the TT-30 Tokarev. The sheet metal design itself is where we're starting to get into what we were actually talking about where this goes. AK itself, originally, you know, it was a forged, milled piece of billet, billet metal. So, you know, this is, you know, just some straight up pot metal. Big thing about that is that famously they were unable to produce the stamped version of the AK, went back to milled, and then when they worked their stamping procedures out, went back to stamping. However, it was always designed to be stamped when it comes to cost. You know, as soon as, like, yeah, they originally were going to mill the thing, and then, you know, as soon as that cost factor and the fact that it could be stamped came up, then of course they were going to stamp that thing. Now, the design influence itself has lineage from this pistol directly to the MP40. The idea for the sheet metal in the MP40 came directly from this pistol. Famously, the MP40 would go on to influence the PPSH-43 and the PPS-41. Uh, very famously, the AK itself, sheet metal. So, you can see where that all went. Now, as far as how this thing actually shoots, I can only go off of third-party accounts, unfortunately, because this particular one does not fire, and unfortunately, because it's a World War I issued pistol, our shop is not bringing this thing back to life due to its condition. It's just a shotgun. If I can find some parts for it, I might, but it's not a repair project. It is a salvage gun, so this is something the shop owns. So, it's something where if I wanted to fix it in the spare time, I can do that, but I got to find parts for it, so it's not a job. Now, another thing you might see kind of familiar. Any of you got a Makarov? A lot of shit in here that really influenced a lot of pistols. I mean, you look at the thing, it actually almost looks like a prototype Makarov. Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool, man. So, I really don't have a lot for you about this pistol. That's really what I got for you, man. I just, I wanted to talk about it because, yeah, this is the first sheet metal gun. Obvious where that fucking came from. So, and yeah, it's not conjecture or anything. That design lineage did have influence across that entire lineage. It's literally just connect the dots, put up the pins and strings with your crazy board, and yeah, it's all there, man. You don't have to do any conjecture. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I love gun history for that reason. Because, I mean, famously, influenced by the Garand, influenced by the Sturmgewehr, has a lineage from this fucking thing. I mean, I fucking love gun history. Y'all stay safe, have fun, do stupid.